this is the book on mystical and Kabbalistic alchemical science and art, occult science and philosophy, and spiritual teachings and symbolism, metaphors, and as well as actual practical alchemy, laboratory-based experiments that can be performed at home. I've been writing this book for a few years now, casually filling in a page or two here and there at a time. But I mean, I get bored of it sometimes, so I take breaks. I haven't wrote anything new in about 8 months, but it's filled with illustrations and diagrams, and it breaks down alchemy and its history and its significance and connection with religious archetypes and cultures. And for instance, here we have quotes from Jesus that are alchemical phrases, but we have a quote from Jesus and a quote from Hermes, the Greek god. Both of them mention similar key references in their parables. Their parables were conveying a secret of alchemy. Here are some secrets about the Hebrew letters of the name of God in Judaism and their correspondence with alchemical earth, air, fire, and water. This is a chapter filled with a list of biblical quotes and references from different verses in the Bible that are alchemical phrases and or allegories and metaphors. Some of the parables Jesus spoke, many of them actually, were very much based on, or at least rooted in, Hermetic philosophy, which is kind of synonymous with Gnostic religion, which the early Christians, before the Roman Vatican Church, they were Gnostics. But they were all persecuted and hunted down. The original followers of Jesus' disciples were all persecuted and driven out of their homelands and forced to go into hiding. This is a section that is it takes from the Apocryphon of John, which is found in the Nag Hammadi library. That was a text that was banned from the Bible, and it talks about the four bodily demons that correspond to hot, cold, wet, and dry, and their names, and they rule over these qualities of matter. In alchemical theory, which basically started with Plato and Aristotle, they proposed basically that all nature is comprised of the four elements: earth, air, fire, and water. Which today modern science has a different, set of terms for this. We call it solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. But there's a quality or an essence between these four material natures, and that would be coldness, hotness, dryness, and wetness. And by adding or taking away one of the qualities in between them, you get a change in the nature of the substance from one form to another. So if you add heat to something solid, it becomes liquid, so it becomes like water, and etc. But in this next chapter gets more into the secrets of the Philosopher's Stone, the work of making it, the Grand Arcanum, and it contains a lot of my own recipes and formulas for the work, which I encrypted so that the reader would have a puzzle to solve. Basically, this is, kind of almost like a 21st century grimoire, alchemical spell book, in a sense. I've been kind of piecing together over the years, or a kind of Alchemy 101 book. And here we have all the planetary metals, each of the metals in alchemy, gold, silver, iron, copper, tin, mercury, and lead. They each have their melting points listed next to their symbols here in Celsius and Fahrenheit degrees. This section dives into different animals and what they are used to represent in alchemy, metaphors and paintings that portrayed hidden recipes and formulas. Like the salamander was a creature that stood for fire. In the old days, they saw salamanders. They were born. The staff of Hermes, Caduceus, which there's a lot more I could have covered on this particular topic. I kind of left a lot of information out. I did get extensive with the green lion, and I started leaving a lot of pages blank, and I just haven't really been filling a lot in since then. I did start a symbols glossary back here to use as reference so that it can be used to solve the puzzle that I mentioned earlier that's in the section full of my recipes. The puzzle, to read it, you have to memorize each of these symbols or translate using them. And it just lists different materials and processes and things, and the different hieroglyphs that were used to portray or represent said things that were used for the art of alchemy. I don't know how long I've actually been writing this. I started it shortly after my brother passed away, I believe. But I've written many other versions, different books like this. Most of them have been stolen, lost, or destroyed or something. This particular drawing is actually a copy that I drew from I believe it was a 14th, or it might have been a 12th or 13th century manuscript. I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but so I really haven't been refreshing a lot of my knowledge about the history of the art because I haven't really been doing too much studying as much lately, simply because I don't have my Facebook anymore, so I don't really have a way to reach out to other alchemists and share with them like I used to, and therefore I don't need. Yeah, that's it.